Hey everyone, I hope all of you are having a great day today. Today is November 18th, 2016, and today I'm going to make a typical automotive YouTuber video. It's going to be the 10 things I love about my Mustang. Hope you guys enjoy this video and let's get to it. Number 1. It's definitely going to be the power you get for your money. So I got my car for $42,000, which it was new. I got all the options for it. Obviously the convertible, everything costs a little bit more. You can get these for about $35,000 to $42,000. And with that you get 435 horsepower with 400 torque. And it's so much easier to make power with that. On my previous car I had was a 2012 Honda Civic Si. And with that you get 210 horsepower factory, and even with full bolt-ons and tune, you're barely making 300 horsepower. With this, full bolt-ons and a tune is almost pushing 500, if not 500 or more, which is insane. So producing power is great for this car. That brings us to number 2. Number 2 is huge, and it's something that the previous generations of Mustangs didn't have, especially the 2011 to 2014. So the newest generation has IRS. So IRS, if you don't know, is independent rear suspension. So to simplify it, pretty much, compared to the previous generation Mustang, the newer Mustangs can handle corners better. Stability with handling is so much better than the previous Mustang. A downfall of that is it in a straight line it's a little bit slower, but honestly, to go a little bit slower in a straight line with this much horsepower to have better handling, it's an awesome trade-off in my opinion. So that brings us to number 3. Number 3 is obviously something that any new car owner would love for any new sports car they buy. So it's the interior and the exterior of this car. And I'm going to compare it to previous generation Mustangs, where the previous generation, even the 2011 to 2014, compared to the new S550 here, it's night and day, especially the interior. With the interior, with the older Mustangs, I owned an 07 Mustang, and even with that one and in the previous generation, everything's very plasticky. With these, it looks very, very luxurious. And let's take a look inside real quick. And as you can see, all black leather interior, and very awesome steering wheel here. Full navigation, just everything looks very, very luxurious, and it's a Mustang. If I saw this literally 2-3 years ago, before this generation came out, I would not believe this was a Mustang right here. But this interior looks so great. Everything, just the details, the stitching in the seats, just the quality of everything is phenomenal. And I do have the premium trim here, which does make it a little bit better than the basic trim, but it still looks much better than the previous generations, and that was a huge plus for me to getting this car. So number 4, and this is a huge one for me, because usually this is going to be the first modification I get for any car I buy. So with all the previous Mustangs here, every Mustang looks like a rally car, the older ones. Previous generation looked like rally cars because it was so high up. You had to lower with springs, coilovers, or bags to get a nice stance to it to make it look much more aggressive. If not, it doesn't look aggressive. It has the power, but it just doesn't look right. So if you see Mustangs that are high up, stock ones from the factory, it just doesn't look right. But the newer S550s, so in 2015 and newer, as you can see here, if you look at the car by itself, honestly, it doesn't come lowered, but it's just how the body style is of the car. As you can see right here, it looks like it's lowered, but it's not. And I had this car for 8 months, and usually between the first couple months of me buying the car, I would get suspension for it. And maybe I will get more suspension for performance purposes, but for right now, it looks great. It sits nicely, and I've had no problems with it. I put new snow tires recently for the winter, and I'm going to get new wheels when summer comes around. But I've had no problem, and it sits so nice and has such an aggressive front end. That brings us to number 5. And this one is pretty huge too. And this is, we'll go in my car for this one. And I do have my keys in my pocket here. And a huge thing here. Ooh, that exhaust. A huge thing here is the functions right here. if you look inside the car, it has so many modes right there, which look phenomenal. And let me toggle through them real quick to give you an idea here. So if you look here, you have gauge mode, trip fuel, track apps, which is my favorite, and driver assist, which has the rear view camera, has the blind side mirrors, the lights that turn on, and with the gauge mode, just has so much. It has tire pressure, air fuel, boost, cylinder head, Intel air temp, oil pressure, temp, oil temp, trans oil temp, voltage, miles till empty, and everything here. And my favorite one is track apps. You have your acceleration timer, launch control, acceleration timer at 0 to 30, 0 to 60, 0 to 100, all that right there, and line lock for burnouts to get started. And driver assist, you can customize all your stuff, all the colors of the ambient lighting in the car, and it's just such an awesome thing that you never expect in a Mustang. And also this navigation looks phenomenal. If you look at this right here, great navigation system. I don't have a problem doing this. I can do it quick. I know you're not supposed to do it when you're driving, but I can do it so quick it doesn't even affect it whatsoever. Turning on Bluetooth, doing that is not a problem at all too. So that is honestly great, and I couldn't even imagine this is a huge thing of why I bought this car too. Number 6. So this is a huge one too, is why I bought this car. I'll show you guys just so you can see how it is. So when this car first came out and people saw pictures of it, people thought it would look like a Ford Focus or it would look too European. And because of that, people were skeptical when this new S550 was coming out. But it's hard to see in my garage because there's not too much room here, but the body lines of the car look great, the front looks aggressive, and it just looks like an awesome car compared to the last model and obviously the ones before that. And for me, this is my favorite Mustang to date. I mean, I'm not really into the older Mustangs. Some people are really into those, but so far out of all the Mustangs, this generation is honestly my favorite. So that brings me to number 7. So for number 7, this is honestly huge for me. I live in Illinois, so we have really harsh winters where it snows a lot, and obviously it's horrible driving a V8 rear-wheel drive, high horsepower car in the snow. But for me, I'm lucky because at work I have a garage, which is awesome, but I'm not at work, I'm screwed. So what this car has, and it comes stock with it, is automatic start. So how this works is, so you press lock one time, then you press this 2X twice. And what's awesome about this is I tested this out, and the range of this honestly goes at least 2 or 3 football fields away, which I can start my car in the snow. And what's really cool about this also is both the front seats have heating and cooling seats. So in the summer, when it's scorching hot with this black leather, you can auto start it, so when you get in your car it's cool. And obviously when it's freezing outside, you can make it warm in the winter, which is a huge plus for me with this car that Mustangs never had before. So that brings me to number 8. So number 8, and I'm comparing it to the older Mustangs. The older Mustangs didn't have this, which the S550 does, and it is working vents for the car. The older Mustangs, my dad had a 2001 and we also had a 2007. It had air vents in the car, on the hood, on the sides, that were not functional. All the ones on the newer Mustangs are functional, even on the last generation ones, which honestly is great. And honestly, having vents for show is not, there's no point. I'd rather not have them at all. So all these vents on the side and where they're put also is awesome. So both these hood vents right here are functional, obviously for airflow to make everything go good, and the car looks great with that also. That brings me to number 9. So number 9, this is huge because obviously it's the main reason of why people buy Mustangs. It's the power band, and obviously this 5.0 Coyote engine is phenomenal. They came out with it in 2011, and it was a great change that Ford did. What Ford's doing with their performance with the Ford GT500 coming out, the GT350 and the R is great. Obviously the other Ford cars are phenomenal too. But with this power band in each gear, first, second, and third, fourth, and fifth gear, you get power out of all of them. Sixth gear is more for the highway, but you still get some power out of that. But this all comes out of this 5.0 liter V8 which is all stock right here. And honestly, from the factory, it looks absolutely beautiful. That brings me to number 10, and obviously the most important I saved for last. The Mustang is obviously much better than the Camaro. Not just how it looks, speed, performance, just everything. If you own a Camaro, obviously you made the wrong choice. You should have got a Mustang. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. I'll be making a lot more videos soon. I'll talk to you guys later, and peace out.
We wanted to run, we wanted to fall together.